Hi, friends. I'm Katie.
And I'm Lauren, and welcome to Okay, But Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today we're recapping and chatting about Bob's Burgers, Season 8, Episode 8, V for Valentine-detta, and Episode 9, Tu Ga-Ga Tambien. And we always start off with a synopsis. So for Episode 8, we have V for Valentine-detta. Jimmy Jr. asked another girl out for Valentine's Day, and Tina is not taking it well. Bob and Linda both got coupons for Valentine's experiences for each other, but end up splitting up with the kids so they can cheer up Tina. Linda takes the girls on a limo ride, and chaos ensues when they plan to ruin Jimmy Jr.'s date. And Bob and Jean are surprised with a trapeze class. While Bob and Jean struggle to let go of each other while suspended in the sky, Tina realizes she doesn't want to ruin the date for Becky. Jimmy Jr. breaks up with Becky in front of Tina mid-date, so the girls stink bomb Jimmy Jr. and bring Becky with them. Bob and Jean finally let go and return home feeling great after their experience. And we always start off with our puns. What did you get for the vacant storefront?
Gloves, actually.
Play on the movie Love, Actually.
I thought that was a good one.
It is cute.
Yeah.
And pest control.
Shall we ants exterminators?
The play on the movie Shall We Dance?
Yes.
Dance if you wanna.
Your friends behind. All right.
There's a burger.
There's one burger. That was the Shut Up and Swiss Me burger.
I think that's cute. It's simple. Swiss is a good cheese.
It's a good one for, this is one, because actually, was this a recent video hanger? So I was watching this the other day. It was a Binging with Babish video where he was eating, like, whatever they determined to be, like, the top 25 Bob's burgers.
Mm-hmm.
I think, was this recent?
Yeah, I've watched some of their Bob, I know he went through a lot of Bob's burgers for one video.
That might be the one I'm thinking of. Because I just watched one.
So I've watched that one.
Bob's Burgers. Yeah, it's from 2 months ago. It was, ranking the top 20 burgers from Bob's Burgers. And, like, to be fair,
there's a lot of burgers.
It's a lot of them, but, like, also, like, but it's the way that they made them. They didn't do a lot of, like, creative licensing with the burgers. Mm-hmm. Like, they took, basically, unless there was an actual recipe, kind of like the Baby You Can Chop My Car burger situation.
Yes, so there are some recipes with the cookbook.
Yeah, so if there wasn't, like, an official recipe, they basically just took the title and put the thing on a burger, which, to be fair, a lot of the burgers don't have cheese on them if you take just the name of the burger. So, like, that was his whole thing was, like, this would be so much better if it had cheese.
Like, and you can just add cheese.
Yeah. But that was not to be.
So you have finally met Nat Kinkle.
Do we see more of Nat?
We get lots of Nat. She pops up a lot after this. Like, every now and again, at least once a day. Like, she just every now and then you're like, suddenly, oh, Nat's here.
Okay. I mean, she's basically an adult Louise. I'm kind of not mad about it.
She's really great. I really love her. She is voiced by Jillian Bell, which has done a ton of work. She's a huge voice actress.
Sounded very familiar.
I really love her. She's the main actress in Brittany Runs a Marathon. I think that's my favorite thing I've seen her in.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, I said her voice sounded very familiar. The name didn't, like, if you just said she's in a lot of stuff, so that was like, sure, I've seen her, I've heard her in other things. I've seen that movie a lot.
I love that movie.
It's such a good movie.
Her most recent work, I will not be watching though, because it's that kind of pregnant movie. She's in that on Netflix that came out when you're listening to this a few months ago for us recording recently. So I love her. I won't be watching
that's fair.
That. Oh, there's like a couple of movies that Netflix has put out and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I like the side actors.
Yeah.
But I don't want to watch a movie if I don't like the main ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
the
fair.
problem.
That's fair.
So this is the title references, of course, for the comic book and 2005 movie V for Vendetta. Mm-hmm. So, which is also a great movie if you haven't seen it. I get to bitch again. Despite being a Valentine's Day themed episode, this episode originally aired on January 14th, 2018, exactly a month before. No new episodes aired in February 2018 owing to competition from the Super Bowl and the Winter Olympics taking place on Sundays in that month.
Oof. I've never been more glad that ABC just didn't have sports.
Yeah.
Because once was also on Sundays until the last season, and they never got bumped.
Well, that's like what we're dealing with right now, because I'm like, at this point, Bob's is supposed to be the cyclical of fall and, finishing out winter and going into spring. But it's not on during the summer. And I'm like, now we're going to have summer episodes because they haven't given us any.
Yeah, that just feels weird.
So it's a little annoying.
Yeah.
Both Ron Funches and Wyatt Cenac voice characters for the second time on the series in this episode, voicing Tim and Jerry Flanagan, respectively. Funches previously voiced Horseplay and the Equestronauts, and Cenac previously voiced Nick and the Labyrinth. So I kind of like when they get, it's not all H. John Benjamin and the other guy that name suddenly left my brain, but
David Herman.
Thank you. It's not all just the two of them.
Yeah.
So it almost feels like, since we now know, I didn't realize the math until we talked about Marshmallow, that we're not going to see her for until like season 14. I'm almost like, so we lose Marshmallow for a little while, but we have Nat. Nat's kind of the new Marshmallow. Like, she just pops up, but she actually do stuff. It's not just, hey, Marshmallow. Like, she's a big part of the episodes that she's in usually.
I like that.
I love her. She's just, and she's queer. And she's wonderful.
I gathered.
And, very queer. She's very queer.
Here's the thing: is I don't really know what it is about this animated character that made me go, "That's a lesbian," but that's what happened. Like,
you got a tingling.
There's a vibe.
There's a vibe.
There's just it's a vibe that amongst our community we understand.
Yes. So Gretchen now appears working at a salon called Dye Me a River. It isn't explained whether she is working there in addition to the job she has at Special Girl. Or if she's left that job. So
I wouldn't be surprised if she's transitioned outside.
Yeah. I have to say, Gretchen working at a place called Dye Me a River sounds far better for her than her working in a children's store, because it's Gretchen. The scene where Linda, Tina, Louise, and Nat play in the fountain is, of course, a parody of Friends.
Yep.
Which that fountain was not where people think it was.
No.
At all. And it was freezing when they filmed that.
Yes, it was.
A total of 4.76 million households watched this episode, making it the highest rated episode in season 8, the highest rated episode since Slumber Party in season 4, and the first episode to get more than 4 million since Presta Tina O. So, which I find interesting because it had such a long gap.
Yeah.
Like, it's like after this, you didn't get any Bobs for a month. So it's very interesting. Like the last one, I just like it.
I like those little details.
This will make you happy. The phone number Tammy gives Louise starts with the numbers 201, which is the area code for Northeast New Jersey. This could confirm that the family does, in fact, live in New Jersey. I love that the wiki always says stuff like that. Like, yeah, they're pretty sure they live in New Jersey. They've literally proven they live in New Jersey.
Yeah, because 201 is also New York City. So let me find the exact radius of the 201 area code.
The exact radius?
Am I thinking of 202? Yeah,
possibly.
Yeah, because 201 is specifically, what county is this? Oh, I'm thinking of 212. That's New York City.
Oh,
there we go. 201. I mean, that's it's Bergen. Basically, it's Bergen County, but it's that entire northern. It's the whole northern cap of New Jersey. It's basically any area of New Jersey that borders New York or the Hudson River.
That makes sense. Very much so, especially just the way Linda talks.
All right.
Oh, I like it. All right.
Well, it's also why, like, I think at first I thought Linda was Jewish, and then went, no, she's Catholic. I'm like, oh, she's just from New Jersey. That makes sense.
She's just... Oh, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 lines.
I have 8.
Ooh, all right.
All right.
I'm realizing more and more that I apparently do that a lot. Like, my family continually points out every time I do that, okay, Linda. And I'm like, I can't help it. It's a part of me now.
I mean, for a while, I would call people dearie. I was like 18 when I did that, but still.
That's adorable.
I don't do
All right, you go first.
Should we unplug her and plug her back in?
Does anyone know if she's still under warranty?
There are a lot of other fish in the sea, and not dumb little guppies like Jimmy Jr. Big, handsome sharks with big shark muscles, and crabs with abs. You can tell when I remember which characters say it.
Yeah. Time of death, 9:15 a.m. Time of breath, powerful.
Just wait until 3 days after the date to call me. That way you don't seem too desperate to be my dad.
Sad girl, you want to go run over this kid who dumped you, or what? That sounds like a good plan.
I liked it. Her puberty operating system is crashing.
Just to warn you, I ate the perfectly wrong things for this activity. I'm using that eventually.
Yes. I know what you're thinking. And are you really ready for that? Well, in 45 minutes, the answer to that will probably be sure.
I know the owner. Saved his life after I hit him with my car.
It's time for little JJ to pay.
Oh my God. It's Valentine's Day, so he might be pretty low on dead horses, but I'll see what he has in the raccoon family.
Guys, it's been over an hour. We're worried about your bodies.
I'm out of line.
I have one more.
Okay.
Dad, release your krakens.
This episode is very funny. The one line, like the lines are perfect. I really love like how supportive the parents are. It's one of those moments you're like, okay, the parents are actually being good parents. They're like, you know what? Our daughter's really upset. Let's split up girls' night, boys' night. I just love that it ended up being trapeze for boys' night.
I was gonna say, I'm like, maybe we add an addendum to them being good parents. Good parents in the method that they used. Bad parents in Jean being just 1 year old enough to do trapeze class when neither of you are all that athletic or graceful. Maybe you don't string your son up by ropes and swing amongst a tarp. That's probably a bad idea.
Yeah,
especially
there was a net.
It's also because we've just seen like Bob's thing with heights with the camping store.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe we don't go up into this. And at first they actually were pretty good, but then
they did pretty good.
Then they got stuck there. So I was like, I just wrote, Linda bought a Groupon for a trapeze class in all caps. Like, this feels very unsafe.
Very unsafe. I do enjoy the fact though that like when he is holding, he's doing the right thing as a parent. I will defend Bob in this in the fact of he's holding him and he's like, this feels completely opposite of what I'm supposed to do. What do you mean let go? Like, I'm supposed to let go of my child and drop him?
I'm supposed to let go and plummet to the ground while holding my child.
This feels wrong.
Yeah. They were harnessed in.
They were. Like, there were plenty of, there were safety measures. Like, it looks like these guys were professionals. They knew what they were doing. I love that it looked like a father-son duo itself because the one guy was like balding and the other guy looked younger.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cute. And they do the little practice at least. They let them take their leotards home.
Well, that's the lesson in pee and things you want to keep.
I mean, don't let my 4-year-old hear you say that.
No. Okay. So the fact that I remembered that because earlier what we were saying when we were prepping to get started for the entire night was something I said was oftentimes because of when I watch the Bob's episodes, I get reminded of what actually happened as you read the synopsis. But occasionally things come back to me, like that line that I did not write down.
Yeah. Do you want to complain about how horrible Jimmy Jr. is?
He's the worst. I wrote the fact that he
horrible.
broke. Was it Becky? What was her
Becky.
name? Becky. So he broke up with
Becky.
He broke up with her on Valentine's Day in the restaurant. And where is the line that I wrote this down?
Like they didn't even start to dig into the enchiladas.
No, they were. Jimmy Jr. breaking up with her on Valentine's Day is such a dick move. Just like insert name of guy who broke up with me the day before Valentine's Day in 8th grade. I didn't want to say his name, but he doesn't deserve to be identified. I'm sure he's a
look what you did. Man.
I'm sure he's a normal person now, but like in 8th grade, mildly offended because I am a lesbian.
Just
There's
a
that.
little.
But it was
it's like, I'm still mad at you.
I'm
but
still mad.
It's okay.
It ended up fine. I'm not attracted to your species at all. However,
what you did was mean.
You broke up with a 13-year-old girl the day before Valentine's Day because you were going on an overnight trip and you wanted to have options. That's what it was.
To be 13 and that being your reasoning.
You know what's even funnier?
What?
What's funnier or worse? So that trip was a trip that my social studies teacher did basically it was a trip to Gettysburg.
Oh, okay.
It was like a little weekend trip thing. And basically, and like in order to get into it, you had to like write like an essay or something. And I didn't want to. I was still like in like my flare up days with my Crohn's. Like it felt like a lot. So I didn't go. But earlier that week, someone had dropped out and they had an extra spot. And my teacher basically came to me because he knew a bunch of my friends were going, but I was like one of the better students. And so he said to me, he's like, if you want to go and your parents can pay for it, you don't need to write the essay. You just get the permission slip. You can come with us.
Ooh.
But I had my reasons why I wasn't going. So I was like, thank you, but no. And like, I stand by my choice. So I could have gone on that trip and then who knows where I'd be.
Oh, that'd be so funny. Probably still gay, I will say.
Probably. Honestly, I think an overnight trip, this is gonna sound even weird because I did go on like a later like weekend long trip and like I shared like a room with like my best friend. Like that's different. I was like, you could have awakened something much sooner in me is what I was gonna say, but my trip in high school didn't do that. So
No,
that might be
no. That was my trips in high school.
that might be because I shared a not just a room, because it was a 2-bedroom, so it was 2 other girls, but it was 4 of us. But it was my best friend Becca, who, and like, I love her dearly. I don't even know if she listens to these.
Hi, Becca.
But if you do, hi Becca.
You never know.
You and I have had this conversation before. I love you dearly. I have never once thought I was in love with you.
Oh, it's so a conversation we could have, though, about people who did think that we were in love with them when we were growing up. Or, well, no, you came out later than I did.
Yeah, I didn't really come out until college. Either way, though.
Either way, I'm sure you still have had the experience of, like, this woman's definitely straight, but what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, why do they think I'm attracted to them just because they're a woman?
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting thing we all tend to deal with at some point.
That's a conversation for a Patreon coffee chat.
Yes, it is. Oh, write that down. I'm sure people would love to hear our story.
Yeah, if you want to hear unscripted random stuff that has nothing to do with anything, our Patreon gets a monthly free coffee chat. It's free to view if you want to ask us questions. So if you want to remind us that we had this conversation,
yeah,
that is on the paid tier.
We'll forget.
That's the paid tier. That's $1 a month. But yeah, and it's an hour of us just rambling about whatever we feel like talking about.
Mostly books.
That's what's on our mind more often than not.
Because that's what we do.
Yeah, books are our life, much like the Lego set.
Literally. We write, we read them, Lauren narrates them.
Do narrate them. Yesterday, I started talking about how I do character voices, and I started to say, but I'm not a voice actor, and then I went, no, that's actually incorrect.
I'm about to say, yes, you are.
I have narrated and produced and published an audiobook. I'm working on book number 2. I also do record podfic. Nope, you're never getting the username out of me. Not happening. Only Katie's the only one that knows the things. But it's a case of, because my audiobook has been produced and published and people have paid money to listen to it, I am the definition of a professional voice actor. I'm so proud of you. I have made, off of Authors Republic, I've made $15.39.
Yay!
7 of which is from Hoopla, actually.
Hey, that was me.
Yeah, it was borrowed 12 times that I can see so far.
I'm one of those 12.
Which is, I get about 50 cents per borrow. That's fine. Hoopla.
See, I paid you back.
Hoopla is very much a, that's an accessibility tool. That's not a moneymaker.
Yes. No.
Libraries.
And we always want to be accessible.
Libraries are important. Also, to be fair, going through Authors Republic, I don't have a choice, really. Like, it's basically, it's an all or nothing with those kinds of services. But I would choose Hoopla anyway.
I have to agree with you. So we like Nat.
Yeah, we like Nat is good. We hate Jimmy Jr. We thought the trapeze class was cute and supportive, but maybe not the best thing to take an 11-year-old on. But for this one, like, for the family, I liked the hijinks of this episode, especially because it was so much of Linda and Nat, well, mostly Nat, really egging on the ladies, because, like, my experience with romance in middle school is far different than Tina's, but that experience of feeling like, because also fuck Jimmy Jr. Specifically because he used the frame Tina gave him for a picture of him and Becky.
It's so messed up.
It's his thing of, like, it's a good frame. I don't care. She gave you that frame. At the very least, put a picture of, like, something else.
Adults in his life.
At the very least, put a picture of anything else in that frame. It doesn't have a picture of her, but, like, not another woman.
Yeah, he's great. He's a little shit. Like, I literally wrote Jimmy Jr. is a little shit. Like, because he is. And once again, he's never redeemable. And I know we have the conversation of, like, the shipping of characters. I just think Zeke is more deserving.
Yes.
And yes, these are children actors, but I just, like, when it comes to this dynamic, we're going to talk about it because it's in the show.
Yeah.
This isn't us being like, shipping?
No, this is us talking about the dynamics that they show in the actual show itself. Because we have seen cases of Tina trying to decide, does she like Jimmy or Zeke better? So we're not saying, oh my god, they're totally together, and when they get older, they're gonna have it. That's weird.
No. Like, in this spectrum of the show, I would like to see in the show maybe something, like, for her to go towards, like, Zeke.
Middle school,
and I think that would be very sweet.
Middle school age appropriate relationship.
Yes.
That way, where it's like trying to figure out if you should hold hands or hug.
Exactly. Like, that's the awkwardness. Like, figuring out what picture you should put in a frame that was made for you. That's those dynamics would be really cute, because they do eventually delve into like other characters and their stories a little bit, where the Belchers are like barely present.
Yeah, okay.
Which is really interesting. Yeah. I liked the one episode I can remember them doing that in. I enjoyed it, and it was a situation of representation.
Okay.
So they do try to eventually branch out into other characters a little bit, and if they can get another season, because I still have not seen news as of March 17th, this comes out in June, of another season yet. So, we're all just gonna hold on and hope as much as possible.
Thoughts and prayers.
Because we want to see more stories, because this family has some really great stories, and I really love this one. Seeing, like I said, I think you're gonna love Nat when she pops up. She's so funny.
I wrote in my notes, I love Nat's enthusiasm, and she literally is Louise in 20 years.
She really is, and I love Louise's obsession with her, and of course, like the makeup on Louise's face in this one is a meme. Yes. So I love they go to a beauty salon, and that's what Louise gets done.
What was your thought process? Nightmares?
It's perfect. But what did you rate this one?
I do have one more note, and then I can do stats.
Yes.
I was just reading over my notes, like, this was funny. I'm now realizing.
I liked this episode. Apparently,
I'm now realizing the irony of having a character who got her braces off, and now like the joke is that she's hot shit on a show where the animation style does not show teeth. I like that irony.
I like that irony too. It's very realistic too, though. Like,
yeah,
I remember having friends who, when they got their braces off as kids, suddenly they were very popular because the braces were no longer on their teeth, and they're like, "Oh, you look like a normal human being."
I'm realizing
kids are the worst.
I'm realizing I feel like so many like stuff like this, the tropes that do stem from reality. I think my school was just too big for that to be a thing.
Yeah,
like when you have
because I had a pretty small class.
Like my graduating class was 600 people, so like. The news of someone getting their braces off, more often than not, once you get past group number 3, the person's going to go, who?
Yeah, I think my class was like 120.
Like, here's...
You know how easy it is to get to know 120 people?
Very well.
When you see them every day?
Here's the best example of how big this school is, and yet how small my world is. My brother is married to someone whose siblings were in my graduating class. And I knew them mostly through dance, like outside of school. I didn't have classes with them very frequently, but there's a level of separation of my brother-in-law. His sisters were by year, and one day, this was a long time ago, but one day one of them was flipping through her yearbook, and she went like, I don't even know who like half people that I graduated with, like, and then she points to this one random person, and she's like, this person, I don't even know who he is. My brother leans over and goes, it's my sister's best friend.
No.
Not Becca, different person. But like,
yeah, it is funny though.
But it's a marker of how big my school was, yet how small my world is.
Oh yeah. And then you have mine where I had maybe 120 people in my class, but of course you have friendships between age groups as well. Ran into somebody yesterday that graduated only a year before me. We were in the same friend group that I hadn't seen in 10 years. And then apparently ran into someone who also, like, they still talk from, like, middle school. And she starts talking to me. She's like, we went to the same middle school. And I'm like, I have no idea who the fuck you are.
Well, I told you about the person that I met at the book club who was in my brother's kindergarten class.
It's so random.
This area is so much smaller than people realize.
Yeah. So what did you rate this one?
Stats. I gave plot and personal both 9s. It was a lot of fun, a lot of chaos, very enjoyable. I gave character an 8, mainly because the gene on a trapeze just scared me.
Oh, they won't hurt the children.
I know, and it's an animated show. Like, I'm aware these people aren't real. But at the same time, like, this probably wasn't smart. So it gets a 26.
I just love that. They're not real, but still.
My concern is still for this animated character. So it gets a 26. It's a solid score.
That's a decent score.
Yeah.
That's decent. I gave plot character 10.
Fair.
Because
that's fair.
But I took away a point from personal because I didn't take it away. So it's 29. But I didn't take it away from character because Jimmy Jr. is still acting as he is expected to.
Exactly. Jimmy Jr. being a decent human being would be out of character.
Exactly. So that is why it's on personal, because I personally don't like Jimmy Jr. It's not as he is playing his character as it should be played. Yeah. Thank you, H. John Benjamin, for playing an asshole 13-year-old. You do a really great job. But no, like personally, Jimmy Jr. can catch hands.
Yeah, not fair.
And now I love how we're like, these aren't real kids, but also I'm talking about beating up a 13-year-old. So,
Priorities.
It's the principle of the thing.
I will say this before we go to the next one. I just watched a video of a podcast that Eric Bauza did. I think that's how you say his name. When he starts talking like Jimmy Pesto, I was like, oh, wow, he is really good.
Yeah. That's the new guy, right?
The new guy.
Because I'm bad at names. We all know this.
I'm pretty sure that's how you say his name, because he's also I saw multiple.
Because you weren't going to hear that until
a long time,
years from now. You wouldn't have actually heard his Jimmy Pesto.
But it's like, because he talks about like being like a replacement, because he also apparently is like the stand-in voice for Antonio Banderas for Puss in Boots.
I did not know that, and I love that.
And again, listening to him do it, he's like really good. He talked about one project he did where like Antonio Banderas did like the meat of it, but like it was like a football ad, but that changed every week. So like he did one thing, but then they had Eric come back to do everything else. But hearing him go from that, and he talked about like job security with these kinds of things of like sometimes you're replacing somebody for one project, or you're just doing like a couple of like extra things. But he's like, nah, for Bob's Burgers, they told me, they're like, no, you are Jimmy Pesto now. That's not a concern.
No, I don't think we're gonna get Jim Johnson. Is that his name? Jim Johnston? Johnston. I have to say it correctly. I don't think he's coming back.
No.
I did love seeing on the internet some people, like, since they released these individuals from confinement. Since they did that, suddenly people are like, is it Jay Johnson? Maybe I said it wrong.
Jay
Jim
Johnson.
Or Jay? I don't care.
I think it's Jay Johnson.
But even though he did like an interview or something, since he's out now, and he's all like, yeah, no, they fired me from Bob's Burgers, and people are all in shock. And I'm like, guys, this is not new news.
No.
We've known this. And the new guy, he's so good. He does such a good job. And I am serious. I did not like Jimmy Pesto when I first started watching. Then I learned more about him, and I really didn't like him even more with the voice actor and everything else. This guy makes Jimmy Pesto enjoyable. I'm not kidding when you watch it.
From the little clip of him doing it, like I was like, this is so good, and like
right?
It feels like it has to do with like the intentions of the actor behind the character a little bit.
It really does. Because it does matter.
If that guy, I mean, I don't think he would ever get canceled because he seems like a nice person. But if he gets canceled, that means we also lose out on our current, basically the entirety of the Looney Tunes, because he does.
He does. He does
Bugs, Daffy, and I think Porky Pig also. So
get into voice acting, kids. But you never know what you'll do.
It's a thing of like, and like that's the one piece of advice that all voice actors say is be versatile, because if they can hire you for 5 characters instead of 5 actors, they're going to hire you.
Looking at you, David Herman.
Or the entire cast of The Simpsons being 3 people.
Exactly. So we now have episode 9.
Oh, yeah.
Tu Ga-Ga Tambien.
Yeah, there's another one.
Yeah, we have another one. Just completely forgot. The kids are enjoying their recess outside together when Frond introduces a new outdoor game, Gaga Ball. The kids at Wagstaff all seem to love Gaga Ball, and both Tina and Louise join in the fun, leaving Gene behind. Gene is upset because he doesn't want to do the same thing as everyone else, and they destroy his monkey booby man bush when the school adds more Gaga Ball pits. He enters the Gaga Ball tournament and wins, forcing everyone to listen to him as he explains that they don't have to give into peer pressure and can play different things. The Wizard of Books stops by Bob's Burgers, and Linda offers to substitute for him at the local library for a children's story time. She tries to come up with a fun name and costume to read to the kids and ends up in a read-off with the wizard. That is the weirdest fucking synopsis I think I've ever read.
I would say same, but no. I've read the Once Upon a Time synopses, and I think those
are a fever dream.
Those take the cake.
I mean, when you've got a dwarf hatching from an egg and falling in love with a fairy, yeah, no, that sounds about right.
I love that that's still your example. It's been like 2 years.
It's gonna be the example forever.
It's been almost 2 years since you watched that episode for the first time.
Why are there eggs? And what did they smoke to think, yeah, dwarfs would hatch from eggs? Like, I'm not going to get over it.
If you don't listen to the Once Upon a Time episodes, that makes no sense. Hang on, I'll give you the episode and title that you can listen to just for context of why are there eggs.
I just can't, okay?
I know, babe. We'll get there. Hang on.
I also just really need to know the name of the drug. That's all.
They have to share things.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. Oh, this is going to take a while.
It's been almost 2 years.
Because that's episode. I think 14 of or 13 of Once Upon a Time. So
something like that.
That's means it's episode 26.
Oh my god.
27. Yeah. So if you want context for why are there eggs, us yelling about these things, listen to episode 27. Did you know eggs are a two-body system?
And then now we're going to go into the puns for this Gaga Ball episode. So what did you get for the vacant Stormfront?
Don't comb around here no more. Gifts for bald men.
Which is supposed to be a play on the Tom Petty and the Heartbreaker song, Don't Come Around Here No More. The Pest Control Truck.
Ant Too Proud to Bug Exterminators.
That's supposed to be a play on the Temptation song, Ain't Too Proud to Beg. Mm-hmm. And we have a very happy Lauren, I'm sure.
Add 4 burgers.
Yeah.
We have Step into the Okra Tagan. Let me say that again. God, that's hard to say.
Oh, I'm not the only one in this one. Yes.
Step into the Okra Tagan burger, which that one... Given the fact that it's an octagonal pit, that made sense.
Step into the octagon.
Havarti like it's 1999 burger.
I like that one. And Havarti's so good.
Yeah, and that's good on a burger. Smells like bean spirit burger. And corn this way burger.
That is actually supposed to be a play on the song Born This Way. The final, referencing the Lady Gaga hit Born This Way, reflecting the fact that Gaga Ball is a central theme of the episode. So that's how they try to tie in the weird story time arc and like Bob's Burgers in with Gaga Ball. Yeah. Because they do bring the game home.
They do, but that's one of my main critiques of this episode is that basically our A plot and B plot have nothing to do with each other. Like, yes, they do play Gaga Ball and in the house and Bob and Linda realize that they really enjoy it, but we've had disjointed episodes where at the very least the B plot is a consequence of the A plot. Mm-hmm. Like Tina got detention, so the kids are home and can't babysit, so something else crazy happens. Like that makes that at least connects them in some way. Yeah. Linda coming up with a character for story time at the library has nothing to do with Gaga Ball.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Just a few fun facts, though. Nothing crazy. The title is a reference to the 2001 Mexican drama Y Tu Mama Tambien.
Okay.
See, that's easier because it's Y Tu Mama.
Yeah.
Not Y Tu Gaga. Like it's the hard G does not flow into Tambien. It just doesn't.
No, it doesn't. And it's a case of like we're also reading aloud puns that are meant to be written down. They're not meant to be spoken. Yeah. Like there are puns that really only work audioly. That's not a word. Audily. In audio.
Sure.
In audio.
There we go.
But like, we're reading puns that are meant to be written down and read. So.
But yeah, Y Tu Mama Tambien does translate into And Your Mother Too. Uh-huh. Gaga is actually a variant of dodgeball that is played with one ball. Gaga pits do exist.
Okay.
Which was so funny because my kids aren't in public school, but I forget where we were traveling. We do like to travel from time to time. Not too far, but like enough places. And I remember passing by a school once and actually seeing Gaga pits for the first time in person. And I was just like, they actually exist. And that's how you play the game. You really do.
I'm all for a game that gives an advantage to kids that are generally athletically challenged.
I have to agree. Obviously, Linda's Punky Bookster storytelling persona is a parody of Punky Brewster, which I know that the wizard had something, but that didn't mean she needed.
She could have just
to have something.
She could have just gone to the library and read.
The book the librarian is holding when talking to Linda and Frank is titled "Sally Found a Sticker."
Okay.
And Fran's line, "Mr. Bronca, tear down those walls," is a reference to the statement made by former United States President Ronald Reagan, commanding Soviets to tear down the Berlin Wall. Mm-hmm. This is apt given that Mr. Bronca in previous episodes has suggested that he led his possibly communist home country before a coup occurred.
Yeah.
So we got Mr. Bronca lore.
I'm good with that. I want Bronca lore.
That's like the one person you're like, no, I really want to know more about this man because like we get this lore. He does a ribbon dance. Yeah. I guess has so many random things about him
doing the ribbon dance. That could be like a reference to like the Russian like gymnastics team.
It could. Like,
Because
is Bronco Russian?
maybe I don't. Cause he's that trope of a janitor in the United States had a high power or a highly like educational role in their home country, which is almost always put off as a joke, and we never get that backstory except for it kind of being this like a sad joke. But with him, with this show and the way that and the fact that he is a recurring background character, we can get that lore, and like kind of
we get like tiny.
I want
lore.
it.
I'm like, hey, look, and this is saying possibly communist home country. So I'm like, Bronco's a commie.
Is he secretly Gorbachev?
Is he secretly Gorbachev?
Did he escape?
I love this so much. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines for me.
I have 7 this time.
Oh, I get to go first. Come, children, follow me into the pit. That's not a terrifying invitation.
What does Mr. Frond want? This is my recess.
That's a hurtful stereotype, Linda. Not all librarians want to shake their hair out.
This is accurate. I wasn't looking at you. I was looking with you.
No shame in losing to the best, right? Well, some shame.
Lunch is great today. Canned corn must be in season.
Well, The Giving Tree messed me up pretty good, so not that. And I'm just like, do we all have the same trauma from The Giving Tree?
The Giving Tree is not a good book.
It's so sad.
Let them play with their balls. We'll play with our bushes.
Whew. If I had what you have, I might not lie in bed every night dreading recess. And climate change. Vampires.
I had that one too.
It's so
Vampires. Good. We don't go to bed anymore. We do this now.
And the only drug she's addicted to is books.
Everyone loves food and air and Matt Damon.
All right, if you can help me with this one, you should. Tina, don't say banged. What's wrong with banged? I banged you. I banged mom. I'm gonna bang everyone in school. I can't even fully get the sentence out.
Like, Tina, no, don't say bang. That's all. I'm out of lines.
And then probably the best one, actually. I'm using my punk rock to take on the man, like the Wiggles.
Honestly, yeah. I like that there's the dig at the Giving Tree and praise for the Wiggles. That's appropriate.
That is appropriate. The Giving Tree is just too sad.
It's sad, and it's not really a good message for kids.
It's not. Giving all of yourself until there's nothing left is not what we do, people.
To someone who doesn't appreciate it and just keeps asking for more.
Yep. Sounds like a few of my last relationships. Yeah.
It's not.
Don't do that, guys. You can't feed from an empty cup.
Exactly. You cannot
take care of yourself.
You need to fill your well. And
that does not mean doom scrolling. That means take a walk. Literally, go touch grass.
Go read a book. Whatever format you want, read a book.
Yeah. And I have to say, I really love when people are like, go touch grass, when there's actual like science behind grounding and like getting yourself into soil or into sand or like physically getting part of your body feeling the earth does actually help regulate your body.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're like, go touch grass, it's not to just be like, get off the internet, you're getting dumb. It's like, no, like you need to go regulate your system.
Go outside.
Being outside.
Like, I know it's like, and the kids are like understanding like the effects of like the sun and seasonal depression. Like even though they don't have like the words to explain it, they understand. The sun makes me feel better.
They have like because like now that it has started warming up here because it's March as we record this. It's just now really starting to warm up, and it's so nice being outside again. Mm-hmm. My kids are loving every second of it.
I can actually run outside.
Oh, you must be loving that.
My complex.
I can't run. My heart might explode.
I run. I run very slowly, but I found it.
Hey, running is running.
I created a loop. I in my complex. I mean, it is effectively running in a parking lot, but it's whatever. It's flat.
Hey, you're also, but it's safe.
It's safe. It's flat-ish. There is some hill, so there's some resistance. And I figured out there's one big loop, and then there's a smaller loop that kind of cuts through it. All together, 1 mile.
See, I like doing that because my neighborhood, I can do like 3 different size loops if I do it the right way, because the roads are just how the roads are. And so if I'm feeling kind of down, I'll do the little loop. If I'm feeling a bit better, I'll do the and I can pick and choose my pattern.
Exactly. And before I grabbed my running vest, it was good. I could keep like a water bottle in the trunk of my car, do a loop, get some water, keep going.
I like that. That's a good option. So what did you think of this one?
I mean, it brought back a lot of like childhood memories of being bad at sports and also just outdoor recess in general.
Also, I don't think all these kids, like a magnet school would not have this age of kids all together
because I feel like
at the same time.
Because I also feel like even magnet schools, the middle school age kids probably still wouldn't have recess.
Most magnet schools I've seen have entire different playgrounds for age groups.
Yeah. So like when the kids walked into the pit, I was like, this isn't supposed to be the entire school all at once.
It looks like it.
Because like
there's not enough kids for it to be all of them, but it's like so many of them.
Exactly. And from such vastly different age groups. Like that was a little not so great. But I was like, I'm all for games that allow those who are less athletic to finally have a chance to win, but Rudy has got to be a better winner.
I'm happy that Rudy had a moment. It like, I don't agree with like that Zeke had to feel the way he did because he's also not so great at it because he is bigger. I feel like it maybe just putting kids the same size together would make it maybe even it out a little bit.
Once they had the different Gaga pits, so you have the second and third graders together, the fourth and fifth graders together, because it's more even that way. Because like we talked about earlier, my school was based on my elementary schools. They were ones for grades 2 through 5. Those were there's 3 of them in my district, so figure you've got about 200 kids probably per schooler ish. And even then, I think we were all on a schedule, but basically you only had 1 grade out at recess per per section at a time, but we always had 3 different areas for outdoor recess to be. Yeah. So like at any given point, you only had kids in your age group, and so 200 divided by 3. Fuck. This is simple math. This is simple math.
I know, but too. I don't know that either.
Hang on. And we're doing real average here. You didn't have more than like say 65 kids out. In one area.
And judge us all you want for the math, but like I've already read over 20 books in the first part of this 3 months of not even 3 months, first 2 months of this year. So I'm gonna be proud of myself.
I think I'm at 16. Hang on.
See, but okay, but still, like we don't math, but man, do we word.
Words.
Yeah.
Occasionally. No, really, you should hear the raw of my audiobooks. I'm reading something I wrote. There are times where I've just given up and started over again because I was repeating every sentence.
See, I'd be that person if I did that. I'd have to record before ever trying to like even just publish an ebook or something. Because if I didn't, the amount of things that would be different between books. Because I'd be like, no, I gotta go fix that. I gotta go fix that.
Well, no, so I'm at 14 for the year so far. Which is,
I'm at 21.
Way faster. I told myself 52 is all I need.
My goal is 75 or 85. 85 this year, I think.
Yeah, I didn't.
With context, I read 83 last year and 120 the year before. 85 seems like a good median for me.
Yeah, I read 78 books last year, I think. And like that was like, it was a good goal and I was able to hit it like fairly easily, but like still. Like I'm pacing myself this time because I had cases of I read like 9 books in a month and then the following month I read 1. So we're gonna. The goal is truthfully, and because I also keep track of the average of how many days it takes me to read a book. The goal is for that average to be as close to 7 as possible.
I read 16 books in January, 2 or 3 in February.
So balance. There needs to be balance, but yeah, balance. My ability to word in that, the amount of times the bloopers that you'll never hear because I cut them out of my audiobook is I wrote this. Or
we say that a lot.
My new favorite one is wait, whose voice is this? Because there's a lot more. There's a lot more character voices because you have the character. Because the chapters alternate the POV, the voice. So you'll have times where like because I get stuck saying something like say like the chapter is from Hilly's perspective, but Morgan has a long monologue, whatever. So I get stuck in her voice because she talks. Morgan has a British accent. She talks like this, but Hilly doesn't. Hilly's more like this. She's Rose McIver-ish, whatever. But when I have to do like the Morgan says like the dialogue tag, I'll we're having an extremely pertinent conversation. Morgan says, "Wait, hang on, wrong voice."
It's like gotta fix that.
Nope, that has to be a different voice.
So speaking of voices and books, and we've got this interesting character, the wizard, who's popped in, and it's very interesting that they made like the story time position seem very pretentious.
Yeah, because generally speaking, story time, at least for the libraries up here, is generally just one of the. It's one of the children's librarians, and I'll be honest, like with Linda's whole thing, this is also, I didn't really care for the B plot in general, and I thought Punky Brewster was probably not the best character to base it on, especially with the guitar and the amp, and they wanted pyrotechnics. But honestly, Linda could have stopped at the Duchess of Tales.
That was cute.
That was a good one. She could have stopped there. That was the first one.
Like, throw on a dress, have some fun. Like, you can just leave it as that. But she, just because the wizard was a thing, she was like, oh, I got to do this too. It's so much. And I get wanting to get some fun out of it, wanting to enjoy it. But like, at the end of the day, for me, just reading to kids is enjoyable.
Exactly.
Because they like, I see how my kids light up with books. So 4-year-old, sometimes you really got to be like, hey, let's sit down and read, because he's got so much energy. But like my 10-year-old's reading Eldest, which is the second book in the Aragon series right now. So like, reading is really important, because I can guarantee you not many 10-year-olds are reading that series. So it's really cool to see. And it's really cool too, because everyone's of course at a different level, and it takes her longer to read these books, how big they are. But she's doing it. She's like, I don't care how long it takes me. And she's so proud of herself. She'll get up and be like, I read 19 pages last night. And I'm like, that's amazing. That's great. Like, that's the point of all this. So Linda getting so much into who she is and what she wants to do and scaring the kids and shocking them. And I'm like, just go and read. And if you don't read to your kids, please read to your kids.
Yes, read to your kids, please. It does more for them than you realize.
The library is a beautiful place.
Yep. If we haven't talked about it yet, which we definitely have in this episode, please go to your library.
Please support libraries.
They are good. They are good for the community.
And I get what Jean was trying to say.
Yeah, with the peer pressure. Like I appreciate a good peer pressure method when it's not like about drugs. It's about a game.
Yeah. It's about like, because it makes me think of trends.
Yeah.
Something's trending, everyone jumps on it, and then you're left with empty Gaga ball pits in the school when kids don't want to play it all of a sudden again, because they're so burnt out from all everybody's doing is playing Gaga ball. Change up your routine. That's why we get bored with things. You got to change things up.
I wrote down, I was like, I feel like this is a lot of investment into a game that the kids are going to get sick of in a week.
Yeah. Honestly.
But,
because that's why we had options. Like at my school, they had chalk and stuff out for Foursquare and stuff like that. Yeah. We had tetherball, we had swings, we had playgrounds. They would always bring us out like a soccer ball, a football, other things to play with at recess. Like we had things to play with. There were options. Yeah, I would have times when I'm like, for like 2 straight weeks, it was all about tetherball, but then I'd turn around and go get in trouble for tackling boys at football. Like it's just balance.
Exactly. You want to give kids.
I used to get in so much trouble.
Well, you want to give kids options when it comes to what they do at recess, because part of recess is the play, it's the creativity. It's not, and it's the physical activity as well. But it's important that each kid gets to decide what that is for them. The thought I'm having now is like, no, this is the kind of peer pressure. Like, my parents, they weren't, the peer pressure they warned me about was, people were going to try and give me drugs and alcohol when I was underage. The peer pressure they didn't tell me about was, hey, so when are we doing that podcast?
Here we are now.
Peer
in
pressure.
My defense, we did that in like less than a day.
We came up with
the
whole concept, and infrastructure was set up basically between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. one day.
And then the SAG-AFTRA strike started.
Because we're geniuses.
And we've come a long way, though.
No, we have. We're still doing this. We've made it far, because the average podcast lasts, I think, like 6 to 8 episodes. And
oh god,
we're recording episodes 141 and 142 today,
and we now do
plus
movies and books and a book club and specials.
Right? Yeah, we do stuff about like whole TV series. So we did like Agatha All Along special. We're gonna do Ghosts when season 4 is over.
We did our Wicked special, which means there'll be another one
part 2
by the end of the year. Yep, for part 2. Man, we're just
so. Peer pressure. Sometimes it works.
Sometimes it's great. I don't have too much on this one, just simply because
this one it
wasn't like a much.
It more sparked memories than created thoughts.
Yeah, because like we appreciate Gene for what he's doing. We realize how easy it is to get Louise to follow along with something.
Oh yeah.
Like, she's susceptible. And it's Tina's Tina. She went because of boy.
Well, yeah, but like Louise, give her a chance to hit people. She's not going to complain.
Oh God, no! Why would she ever complain about causing harm to others?
Not at all.
But yeah, so that was that. What did you rate this?
So I'll go high to low. A personal got a 9 because it was overall enjoyable. I liked the memories that it sparked, even though stuff was disjointed. Character, it got an 8 because Frond forcing togetherness of the kids, probably not.
Oh yeah, we should talk about that. We'll talk about that like right at the end.
Yeah,
because that is a discussion that needs to happen.
That needs to happen. So it's not great. And the Linda thing, I was like, this just feels off. And for plot, it got a 7 because like it's a case of our two plots have nothing to do with each other. So it feels like two half-baked storylines smushed together. So altogether, it gets a 24, which is still a decent score, but it's just like not my favorite.
So I gave plot 7.
Okay.
As well because. Yeah, it's disjointed. It is. It's enjoyable, disjointed.
Yeah,
exactly. And I gave character and personal 8s.
Okay.
So I'm only a 23.
Okay.
So we're once again 8 point off.
Very close.
But that does, what we were just saying, that takes me back to the, come children, follow me into the pit. That is in fact a terrifying invitation, especially when it's coming from Frond.
Yeah. Like it's like he sometimes takes his job both too seriously and not seriously enough.
And you can tell that, yes, I know they have the little storyline of him as a child and trying to show that side of him of like that's why he was so into it and having so much fun, but at the same time it's like you're still misguided. I get it why you're misguided, but you're still misguided. It's still not it's not the way to do it, my man. It's just not. It's Let the kids, like we were saying before, let the kids be kids because everyone did their own thing. Like and I say with the way that my recess and elementary school was set up, it was determined based off of which playground you ended up at. Because we were on a rotation. Basically, our options, there were 2 playgrounds that had jungle gyms. One had access to more of the sports fields than the other. The other one had a bigger jungle gym. And then the last one, it was just the blacktop. It was just the front parking lot. But that's where we did like Foursquare and stuff like that. And like they had like balls and other stuff. But so what you were doing was depending on what rotation playground you were at. But makes sense.
Like, you have the kids that we would play games. They play basketball. They play whatever. You had kids that just hung out on the jungle gym and did other stuff. My friends and I came up with a lot of weird games. We came up with the Avatar game because we were in elementary school when Avatar: The Last Airbender came out. So
I love that.
We picked one of our friends to be the Avatar, and the rest of us were all training them in the elements. And because we were children and I have red hair, I was the Firebender.
Naturally.
I'm more of an Earthbender myself, just saying. But like just personality-wise, I think we've all decided that makes more sense. But yeah, so like it's like you give it because like. Truthfully, like if we were forced to play certain games, we wouldn't have had that creativity to do stuff like that. Or like there's literally games that my best friend and I made up that I'm going to reference in my speech at her wedding.
Aww,
like
that's so sweet.
It's stuff like that. Like when you force kids to do certain things that they may not want to, you're removing the chance for them to create in some cases lifelong memories.
And creativity is so important.
And you replace them with lifelong trauma.
Yeah. And then they end up like Frond.
Yeah. Thank you all for listening. Join us next time when we discuss Once Upon a Time, episode 409, Fall. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and Blue Sky. And if you'd like to join our Patreon, you can find the link with more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Katie and Lauren and edited by Katie.